Okay, let's take a look at an example where an organization does not have a plan in place. Here's a real-life client situation of A. When they met A, they didn't have any plan. They published tens of thousands of pieces of content a year across dozens of product lines in many geographies around the world. The problems they face, even though they're on a global scale, are the same types of problems that happen even in the smallest businesses, nonprofits, and definitely across the whole mid-market. Anyone dealing with content confronts these kinds of issues. So, what was so broken with this client? Let's jump into the story and think about how any of these lessons might apply to your organization, whether it's super big or super small. They have at least 5 different ways that content gets started. In Microsoft Word, Google Docs, Excel sheets, prototyping tools, and design tools. Content begins its life in tons of different ways. And it's not just different kinds of web content that are being produced, but lots of different sales sheets and product inserts and documents and posters and mobile apps and many, many different output formats in the mix. All of that content is then stored in fixed formats, like documents or PDFs, and then shared in many different places. And most of those aren't version controlled. They get passed around in email or SharePoint, on their project management tool, Workfront, on shared drives, or attached to different records in their digital asset management platform. Each one is a separate ID in a separate place with a separate version. Keeping track of all of that's really hard for limited humans. So then, content comes in from multiple external agencies in lots of different formats and languages for each product line, and every team handles those documents in a different way. There's no standard process. There's no one overseeing global content. There's a little bit of attempts at air traffic control, but that's it. And those are just at the edges. There's no one working on content structure at a centralized perspective, except at the final stage of delivery. And then the content has to get added into a content management system. So in order to get the content into a CMS, it has to go through this long manual process. A lot of that involves localization and legal and medical reviews, all happening in this ad hoc and chaotic way. And when it gets stuck for a long time, and there's process breakdowns regularly. Sometimes the delays can stretch into months. Even after content gets through all the reviews, once it's approved, then it needs to go to a team that manually transforms it from Word or whatever fixed format it is in into the format the CMS can handle. This team involves hundreds of people whose core business function is copy and paste. The number of copy and paste events in the lifecycle of an asset is in the hundreds. And the number of separate documents generated for one asset can stretch into the dozens. And many of those documents get stored in different systems, making version control manual and tedious and really prone to errors, which creates a lot of risk. The problem with this is that even when it goes smoothly, everything takes weeks to produce, and that has to be repeated for every channel in every language. And really, do publishing teams have weeks to wait around nowadays? That used to work in a print world where content was published a single time in a single place. But now, the content needs to be used across potentially dozens of artifacts and outputs and channels and variations and personalization scenarios all at the same time. If every output has a different review cycle and everything is managed in the old school way, you can see how a publishing system is going to collapse under that weight. That is insane. It is simply not a sustainable way of working. Teams are overloaded and new market opportunities are being missed. And the same type of headache is happening in all industries, at all levels of business, all around the world. The good news is that there is hope for a better way, a smarter way. Implementing a content orchestration model and a content operations function within a CSO teams can begin to get on top of the systematic content issues. The Content Orchestration Model is the deliberate designed plan for getting content done. It should cover the whole life cycle, all the workflows, all the content types, all the roles. From the moment content is an idea in someone's head, to the time it becomes a modular component of content, to the time those content components get assembled into all the intelligent customer experiences. That whole life cycle needs a plan. It needs attention and investment and a team. With the big shifts happening around us today, it needs a plan and resources more than ever before in history. How does systemic change happen? One step at a time. As content systems grow and deliver more value and return on content assets and more time savings and improve speed to market, organizations readily invest more and expand the CSO's capabilities. And teams start to onboard more and more shared processes into the content orchestration model. And the resources placed into the CSO continue to produce exponential returns, improving the agility of the entire customer experience producing enterprise. Thanks for watching. Let's put what we've learned into motion. Everyone watching this is an influencer, and our words and our actions shape the future of knowledge. So, take these thoughts off the screen and get them into conversations and action. To learn more about the invisible world of content, be sure to like and share this video and subscribe to the channel for alerts when new episodes are available. And check out the other videos in the series. Be sure to view the description and the comments below for links to related resources. And join us for the next episode as we take one step at a time towards a smarter world.